Call this meeting of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order. Roll call, please. Ms. Schulwalter.
Hall.
Here.
Leyland. Here. Little.
Here.
Trelka.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here. Please join us for a moment of silence to reflect on today's actions. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll first entertain a motion on the agenda as received, proposed, or as amended.
So second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the agenda is approved. Next, we'll move on to public comments. If there's anybody in the boardroom or online that wishes to address the board on something that is not an agenda item, please do so at this time. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on. We've got a presentation today, the Transforming of Gates and Burns Park update from Paul Hudding, the Waterloo Leisure Services Director. Welcome, Paul.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me over here. It's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years since you graciously gave us the match that we needed to get $1 million CAT grant. We're in the process of receiving that grant now on a reimbursement basis, but somewhere here, if I share the screen, and Al's here in case I mess this up, I have a presentation to show you kind of what's going on. Oh, look what I got. Veterans County.
You can help Yolanda.
See, there were two choices. I chose the wrong one. There you go. Thank you, Al. So, I have a construction meeting right after this meeting out at Gates Park, and if you haven't been out there, it's worth a drive because it's just a beehive of activity out there. Things are moving really fast. Our plan is to have the inclusion park and the spray park open this summer, hopefully early this summer. We're on schedule to be close. Have a few, any $20 million project, you're going to have a few little glitches here and there, but as it stands now, we'll definitely be open this summer. Not sure of the date yet. This is just kind of an overview of the project, showing the various elements. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I don't want to take your whole day there. And here we go, Al. Arrow key's not advancing it. So. All right, thank you. This is just kind of a review of the North Gates improvements. We have the basketball courts. That's all under construction now. We have multi-purpose paved rink. There'll be a kind of a skating rink around the perimeter of that, which should be fun. And then the performance area, which is amphitheater. The footings went in yesterday for that. So that's starting to come out of the ground. The inclusive space is really coming along. Today, I probably should have taken some pictures this morning because they're going like crazy there. But and then the spray park, of course. Going clear back to November of 2022, we demolished the pool at Gates. Did a tremendous amount of excavation. There was a large housing project going on in the area near and around Allen Hospital. We were fortunate that they needed every bit of fill that we had because we excavated that huge hill that was where the pool was to create a number of berms and kind of a space that's a little lower and a little more accessible. So the image on the top there shows what they thought it was supposed to look like, and it's very rapidly coming to fruition. On the bottom here, you see a new parking lot going in. I think that was a couple weeks ago. That's off of Donald Street. It's really kind of strange now. When you drove Donald Street approaching the golf course before, you saw a hill. Now you see a park. And there'll be a parking lot right there for the amphitheater and the basketball facility. that kind of an egg-shaped concrete you see in a couple of those photos there is the basketball court. There'll be 3 courts there. Around the perimeter is a kind of a skating track, and that'll also serve as the gathering place when there are performances on the amphitheater. This is the irrigation going in last fall at the soccer field. There was a pre-existing soccer field there, very, very busy with the Hispanic Soccer League and others, but it was in miserable shape. So that's been completely redone. Irrigation has been installed, and this is kind of a shot of what it looked like last fall with the irrigation and the seeding beginning. If you go there today, it looks great. We do have to let that rest and grow for one season. So the soccer that was there has been moved over to Tibbetts. I'm sure the neighbors are going to be happy when this one opens because it's a lot of activity over there. There's a new playground here. Everything in this area is connected by a concrete trail. And here we have the spray park area on the top. The larger photo there shows some of the features going in. That was, I think, last week, and it's changed a lot even today. The building on the lower right there is the pump house for recirculating the water and the restrooms. And then this is the inclusive playground taken last week. That's well underway. Pauline Barrett's trust gave us $500,000 for that, hence it's the Pauline R. Barrett Inclusive Playground. This is an aerial from last November just showing the whole campus, and it's really going to be truly a transformation. Couple more pictures there. This is Southgate's. Nothing has started yet on Lester Street, which is the southern end of the park, but this is the plan, and that'll be progressing through the summer. We have 2 contracts, one for the pool and one for the Burns Pool and one for the Gates project, and they're both running through this complete construction season and then into the spring. So here's the Burns Pool. These are the renderings. Construction is underway there. They're remodeling the bathhouse. If you drive by, you'd think, and a lot of people have asked, is the Burns Pool going to be open this summer? And it is. It'll be the last summer for the old pool. The bathhouse there is the pre-existing bathhouse, but it's going to be, or has been, completely gutted and redone. That's in progress right now. That should be open for the pool season. We're hoping the old aluminum pool will hold water for 1 more year. This is 1 year beyond what we planned, but we think with a little bit of welding and maybe a little bit of Flex Seal or whatever we can find, we'll hold water there and get through till August, when we will demolish this pool and then begin with the new pool that you see here. That's what the entrance will look like to the new aquatic center. And money. You want to talk money? We can talk money. When I came to you, it was a $16 million project, and we asked for a number of grants, including the CAT grant, based on that. Well, as it turns out, it's just shy of $20 million, $19,823,958.23. That's the bad news. The good news is we've managed to raise virtually all the funding we need. We have a $465,000 contingency that, if we're lucky and everything goes as planned, we should be fully funded. As you all know, when you do major construction projects, change orders show up, and things could change there, but we think we're in pretty good shape. Can't say enough about the whole community. If I list them, well, I'll try listing them. I'll probably leave someone out. But the Schweitz Foundation, of course, gaming was the lead grant at $6.5 million. The Schweitz Foundation, McElroy Trust, Vangie Miller Trust, John Deere, Pauline Barrett, Ross Christensen Family Foundations, Guernsey Foundation, Young Family Foundation, Ike Lady Foundation, and the Supervisors. And then we had a tourism grant early on around RAGBRAI. That seems like a long time ago, because it is a long time ago, but we're still plugging away, and the fruition is in sight. So that's it for Make a Splash. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. I was bugging Michelle for the $50,000 the other day, so she said, you ought to come talk to these people. Here I am.
Well, you've been really good, I think, to forward information to us, email electronically too about.
I've been
the-
trying
so
to.
That's been great too.
Yeah, I've
That's great.
updated this and
This
sent
is
it out.
nice for everybody too, yeah, so thank you.
What's the estimated timeline on the amphitheater?
Well, as I said, the footings went in yesterday. It's supposed to open for next season, not this season. It may be a little earlier than that, but I don't want to count chickens because the contractor has a set amount of working days that would take them into the next spring season.
Okay. All right, any other questions, board?
No, it's great.
Okay.
All right, well, we appreciate the update.
With that, I
Project.
thank you, and thank you for your support, and I'm going to run over to a construction meeting, see how things are going.
Thank you.
Drive by sometime, thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll have to. Yeah,
Thanks for coming, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, next we will receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
We skipped payments, but you can catch that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped over claims and payments, sorry there. First, this is a resolution that the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures, and that the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against the various settlement of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Ms. Meader?
Good morning, Board. Our bill payment today is $164,298.30. And of that, the 60/40 fund, we're paying $2,447.39. Didn't seem to be anything unusual. We have a relatively small bill payment today. Everything appears to be in order. So, any questions?
Any questions, Board? All right, we do have a motion and a second. This is a resolution. Roll call, please, Ms. Showalter.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Next, we'll receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, engineer. Roads update, the secondary roads crews are out placing rock on the gravel road system. We will also be placing some message boards throughout the county to alert drivers to our upcoming paving projects. The first one that will start will be on Canfield Road, so the message boards are going out in that direction later this week, and that would be at 380 on Canfield Road. So that will be closed for probably 4 to 6 weeks. So we're hoping that farmers see the signs and get their planting done if that impacts them. And then the next week we'll be starting our paving on Dunkerton Road between Wagner Road and US 63. We've been working with the employees, the representatives at Pillars and the detention center to let them know that the road will be closed on the east end at Highway 63. The road will be closed for the 4 to 6 week duration of that project, so they will have to access those two facilities from the east side, from the Wagner Road side, from the west side. A couple of other things I wanted to let you know. Last evening, Wayne Even and I attended the City of Raymond City Hall meeting, City Council meeting, to present them with information concerning our 28E agreement with them. We have a road maintenance agreement with them that does expire on June 30th of 2024. We do have some concerns with that agreement. We're spending a lot of time, the county is spending a lot of time per the agreement, taking care of just a short section of Raymond Road between their city limits and the Dubuque Road. We spend a lot of time on that just due to the high volume of traffic. There's over 5,000 cars a day that use that road. It's never been widened. There's a lot of edge rutting, placing of rock right along the shoulder that we need to do per our agreement to keep up with that. We have a remedy for that. We are going to be resurfacing that roadway in 2026 from Gilbertville, possibly up to Dubuque Road if Raymond could fund their portion of the project. We just wanted to meet with them and tell them that this would be a big help to us if they did participate in that paving project. Kind of put them on notice that we would like to ask them to participate. If they don't do that, we may need to change the agreement so that we are no longer because we are no longer able to keep up with the demands of that edge rutting on that portion of Raymond Road. So I just wanted to let you know that I've spoken with them. And then
Kathy,
lastly.
before you go, what kind of timeline were they given, or were you kind of approaching for that project for them to get back to you or whatever?
I was given a few tasks to look into, but I was probably going to be getting back to them by their next city council meeting.
Oh, okay.
So several weeks, I can meet with any of you to discuss this as well, just
Yeah.
to give you more information.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And lastly, we are going to be rebranding our department to say road department, rather than to keep referring to two different departments, such as the engineer's office and secondary roads. And I will try to refrain from saying secondary roads in the future, but we are putting that on our letterhead, road department. So we're going to be combining those two departments. Can I answer any questions at this time? Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other reports or information from department heads?
So good morning, Board.
Morning.
Yolanda Lovelace, Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs, Supervisor Little. I did get the message, Dan, that we're supposed to wear purple today, and I see that you guys are all wearing purple, so thank you for giving me the invite to do that. I just wanted to share just a couple of slides, not so much all of them, because I did send them out to you, but we did get an opportunity to talk with the governor while we were down at state training, and I just wanted to go over a couple of legislative things that they are proposing that affects veterans in that standpoint. So if you bear with me just a little bit, and I'll see if I can get this to run, because you guys have had the slides here in a second. So we did have Commandant Javois come down and meet us on our last veterans meeting. He was very informative. We had a packed house. It's the first time we've had a packed house in almost 4 years. It was since the last Commandant that came down in that standpoint. And so he provided a lot of great information in that standpoint. Last month, I talked about losing Commissioner Warrington in that standpoint, so I won't share a lot of this. But also now we are going to be losing Miss Mary Cohen, who has been a spark to our office for the last 4 years. In that standpoint, again, we're talking about two young ladies who committed their life to the not just the county but to the government. They were asked to go wherever they were told to go, and they did it with distinction and dedication. And it's going to be remorseful to see Mary go. When you think about the last 4 years, just in our food bags alone, we gave out about 1,440 food bags. She's part of that in that standpoint. Scheduling and driving veterans, she's drove over 960 veterans in that standpoint. She's been the face of our office for just this fiscal year alone for about 1,585 veterans and family members. She averages somewhere around 482 calls a month in that standpoint. So she is the voice of our office in that standpoint, and we're going to be sad to see her leave, but we're going to wish her well in that standpoint. And I just wanted to show this picture. Mary, when she was young, she always knew she wanted to be in the Air Force. If you look in that middle picture in that standpoint. So, so we wish her well, her and her family. That's her family. So when you guys approved us to move into that remodel, one of the first things they did was there was a donor who gave us that pool table. So we had to take that pool table out of that donor's basement, take it out of his basement, and we're talking about in Greenbrier, very thin stairs. So we had to take it apart and then rebuild it. And that's her family reflecting on that hard day of bringing that pool table in. So that's one of my great memories of Mary and her family. And they've been very supportive of our office. And then in April, we did have another Veterans Appreciation Lunch. In the middle, we also did May baskets for 3 of our veterans, various local nursing homes, just to remind our veterans, and we're doing something like that every month, that they haven't been forgotten and that we still care in that standpoint. So my staff is doing some great things, being constructive and trying to be a little bit more proactive and thinking of what we can do to help veterans, not just in our facilities, but throughout our community in that standpoint. And we appreciate the Board of Supervisors for supporting us in that. Also, Mercy One, they had a Jeans Day last month, and they gave us a donation of $1,500 from just raising money from their staff wearing jeans, similar to the sheriff's department with the beer and the police department in that standpoint. So again, our community partners have been nothing but supportive of our office, and just wanted to share that in that standpoint. Here is Governor Reynolds during the week of the 16th, signing one of the legislatives. This is House File 2. This is actually 259. And with 259, there's a couple talking points that I wanted to share. So with 259, it's going to transform how we do a little bit of business. What one of the things that is was signature was they've already given us $10,000 in state allotment. They're going to add $3,000 additional for us to go to state training. They really want to improve the veteran service officers' awareness and knowledge in the system. And so they're going to add $3,000 to that tab, and then they expect us to go to state training. One of the other things is they are expecting now is that the executive officers and the county veteran service officers establish what they call a personal identification verification card, or PIV card. The PIV card gives us access to the VA systems. You know, we're a county asset, we're not a VA asset. So in order for us to have permission to see files through the VA system, you have to have that card. And so there's some training associated with it. One of the caveats to that was if the executive director or the county veteran service officer doesn't attain their PIV card within the first 12 months, then that is reason for termination in that standpoint. So not so much for our county right now, but as we have some turnover, as you can see, the next people we're gonna have to do it within the 12 months. Then another one that they changed was we can have up to 3 to 5 people on the commission, but what they've done away with is saying that you don't have to have a person on the commission that was in Vietnam, that was in Korea, that was in the Persian Gulf. Now you just have to have different branches if you can. And again, it's if you can. So we're looking at that, changing that, because that's been always a sore thumb for us, is making sure we had a representative from the Vietnam era, the Korea era. You know, they're almost 90 years old, so you won't get anyone from there in that standpoint. So that's been a challenge. So now we're just trying to, and then we're losing Mary, who was in Air Force in that standpoint. So, but we'll try to be proactive in that standpoint. Burial expenses, we've have been going back and forth with the different counties. So if a veteran is residing in Fayette County, but he dies in a nursing home in Blackhawk County, it used to be Blackhawk County would cover that if the family needed that cremation. This new law is if that veteran is from Fayette County, he dies at Blackhawk County, Fayette County is responsible for that burial in that standpoint. Then the last one that's going to be interesting, and we're going to have to be talking with the assessor's office and a few others as we get more guidance, is the definition veteran. As always have been, you had to be honorably discharged, and you had to serve at least 24 months after 1982 in that standpoint. But they changed the law a little bit to say that if you were in boot camp and you injured yourself and you received compensation for that injury, though you didn't serve 24 months, you are considered a veteran because you injured yourself while serving in that standpoint. Little twist to that, but you do have to have a service-connected disability in that standpoint. So that's going to be one of the caveats to where now they're entitled to things like the homestead, military homestead tax credit. They can also now get veteran on their driver's license and things of that nature. So a learning lesson for us as we try to figure out how do we best support the assessor's office, because they're going to be the ones who are going to have to make that decision. And so we're going to work together as the county gives us more direction in that standpoint. So that was just some of the talking points. And again, that's us in training. And then this is just some reflections that April is starting to build up. May, as you know, May and November is our two busiest months, with May being, we can go over a caveat of things that we have to do in May, but just showing you some of our production in May. Again, we're been very beneficial to from our community, and you can see some of the revenue that we take in for the month of April in that standpoint. Then there's the one caveat for Mercy One is donated. And then we continue to show these success stories. What that means is for the month of April, those claims came in, and with those claims coming in, 8 compensation claims, 4 pension claims, the retro pay between the time that we filed the claim to the time that the claim was approved was $74,000 for the various veterans and surviving spouses who got the retro pay from the VA in that standpoint. Here again, we're still chasing Potawatomi County. Still one of my goals is to overtake them in that standpoint. And then some of our expenses that we, general service to veterans, we're doing an excellent job, my staff is, in helping to manage the payroll of the money that you guys give us in a budget and what we do to supporting veterans. Then the last thing is this is kind of like our reflection of what we do in support of veterans. Our April lunch was about $1,500, and that was done through Starbucks, Beck's, excuse me. We've had 2 cremations that totaled about $3,000. And then with the trust fund, we had funding disbursement of about $14,000, 9 of it towards dental repair and the other towards vehicle repair. So in a nutshell, that's what we've done in the month of April, and just standing by to address any questions or concerns.
Any
You
questions?
guys put together a great report, I said, of a lot of different information, so I appreciate that when you send it to us. But it's great, I think, to share it publicly too, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other department heads wish to provide an update this morning? All right, we'll move on to the minutes approved from the April 30th, 2024 meeting.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the minutes are approved. We will have a hearing later on in the meeting on a bid opening for the waste disposal services at the courthouse, 316 East Swiss Street, Pinecrest, as well as juvenile court services and the sheriff's office, all located in Waterloo. We will next move on to the consent agenda. This will be approved with a single resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call please, Ms. Schulwatcher.
Leyland,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, resolution is approved. Next, we'll move on to item 9. This is contracts and agreements. This is a resolution to approve the 5-year agreement with Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated to offer a voluntary benefit for legal and identity theft protection services to county employees as part of the fiscal year 25 benefits effective July 1st, 2024, and direct the chair to sign for the same as recommended by Amanda Fesmeyer, Human Resources Director.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions?
Were you I didn't know if you were going to share. I was going to say, when I first looked at this, I thought it was new, but it wasn't. It wasn't. We're
Right.
just updating it or whatever.
Yep, it's not new. It's an existing benefit. It's just one we haven't really seen a ton of utilization, and it's probably because the plan's just been a little dated. And so it got revamped to their best product line when it comes to legal services and ID theft protection services. So there's a lot of information for employees if they need these types of services. If you're buying a home, if you need to update a will, if you are a renter and having an issue with a landlord or something like that. It does require that you do enroll during open enrollment and you have it for the year. So we anticipate for legal services that you would be able to qualify to enroll if you'd have like a divorce, a marriage, or any of the typical qualifying events. The identity theft protection services is really intended to be an ongoing. And it's a lot more than just sending you alerts of, hey, we see some suspicious activity on your accounts. It also covers devices, up to 15 devices. A lot of our transactions that we're doing today with our banking or our purchasing is happening online. And I've certainly known some people that have experienced identity theft, and it's leaked into their financial, accounts. So this is just a way to offer voluntary benefit and kind of a more enhanced version of what we've had in the past. So there will be a slight change for those that are on the plan. It's about $1. If they do the full Family services for legal services and identity theft protection services is about $1, a little under $1 more than a month. But if you just did identity theft, that's actually a pretty big drop from $18 to $10 for a family. So, but yeah, I just wanted to bring it to you all, and it is part of our open enrollment. So when you log in there, employees will see it on here, and just to make sure that they're aware of all the benefits made available to them. So, any questions at all about the program?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, just a reminder, I'll give an update on open enrollment next week. We've had about 40% of our workforce have either started or completed their open enrollment. Everyone who's benefit eligible does need to complete it this year. And we've been going out to several departments to make sure that everybody understands what they need to do. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is a resolution. Is there any further questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please. Ms. Showalter.
Hall.
Yes.
Trelka.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, resolution is approved. And now move on to other business. Item A, this is a resolution that the best bid received from Bill Caldwell Ford, Hudson, Iowa, for the purchase of one new 2024 Ford 250 truck in fiscal year 2025 with a bid of $52,000 for the Blackhawk County Road Department be approved, and to direct the chair to sign the letter of intent as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions?
Good morning again.
Kathy,
Board.
when will delivery come on that?
So right now, it's sitting on a lot at, Bill Caldwell can obtain it, and it would be sitting on a lot shortly after we sign the letter of intent is what we've been talking to them about. I was going to mention that the reason we've decided to go this route is we are starting to work on acquiring the items that we have listed in our FY25 capital list. It does take time, of course, to write specifications and look for these items, get them ready to purchase. In looking at vehicles, fleet vehicles in particular, Ford is taking about 1 year or 12 months to get them made from after they are ordered, and I think Chevy is taking about 6 months. So we started looking at maybe we should just purchase a new one off of a lot, so a 2024 model that's sitting on a lot somewhere in Iowa or surrounding states. So that's what we've done. There are many websites that have these vehicles on lots that you're able to look at. We did find some comparables. We put together some criteria, found some comparables. Bill Caldwell is able to get this one that we prefer, and they would have it on their lot shortly before July 1st.
So do we have to wait till July 1st to pay for it then?
Yes, that would be our intention, that we would sign
Okay.
this letter of
Thank you.
intent, so we are not incurring any costs until July 1st.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we do have a resolution. Roll call, please, Ms. Showalter.
Trelka.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, the resolution is approved. Next, we'll move on to item B. This is a motion to direct the county auditor to advertise for a public hearing / bid opening to be held at 9:07 a.m. on May 21st, 2024 in boardroom 201 of the Blackhawk County Courthouse, 316 East Swift Street, Waterloo, Iowa, for janitorial services at the courthouse, which is 316 East Swift Street, Pinecrest, which is 1407 Independence Avenue, juvenile court services, which is 818 Lafayette, and portions of the sheriff's office, located at 225 East 6th Street, all in Waterloo, Iowa.
So moved.
So moved.
And moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, the motion carries. Next is item C. This is discussion, possible board action regarding the Hickory Hills warning siren.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Facilities Director. Thank you for allowing this to be placed on the agenda. We've recently been made aware that the siren system at the Hickory Hills Park did not pass its latest test, so it has failed. According to our vendor that services these units, This particular unit is very old and very, pretty much impossible to get parts for it. And so they did recommend that we just replace it. And that price tag for that particular unit is between $28,000 and $30,000. So we started conversations with Mike Hendrickson and Mindy Benson, EMA, and just kind of talking through this particular siren. And I wanted to get this on the agenda today so Mindy can kind of explain some alternatives that we have spoke about for this area. So if you don't mind, I'll have Mindy kind of walk through that
Okay.
for you.
You said very old. How old is very old?
I don't have an actual age on it, otherwise I could tell you, but it's 15 plus, I know for a
So-
fact.
And one of the older ones then compared to others that
It
we
is.
have too, so it's not.
Yeah, and
The components in it are not, they're not at the point where we can do anything with it. It's all the knob tube wiring. I would say it's probably from the 70s or older. We still set it off remotely as we do through the computer system. But if you look at the pictures in it, it is not computer components at this point in time. It's probably one of the original sirens that were put in prior to the 80s and or 70s.
Thank you.
Yeah, within the last, going back and looking at invoices, within the last 10 years, we've put probably about $600 worth of repairs, and more than likely that's battery replacements. So this particular time, it's gotten to the point where it's beyond repair.
Yeah.
How does it compare to others that we have
Yeah.
then, too, as far as the age and the need for possible repair or replacement?
Yeah, the others, we actually just went through our last test, and we're in the process of monitoring, I believe 3 out of we have 6 total, and 3 of them came back with issues that we have the vendor looking at. We don't anticipate an issue as extreme as this one, just given the age of this particular unit. But yeah, so we're contemplating. We wanted to throw some options out to the board today on some different options, and I'll have Mindy kind of explain that.
Thank you.
So with the options that we have Alert Iowa, which here is in Blackhawk County. It's absolutely free. It is paid for by the Homeland Security and Emergency Management through the state of Iowa. What we have done already is set up a geofence around that. So we kind of did a really crude looking polygon that's set up around the border of that. We can set up, so we have people opt in, they scan a QR code. I gave some flyers to Mike so he can have people scan that. And what we will do is we'll set up an opt-in for 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, people automatically drop off, or they can sign up and they can continue to receive alerts from Blackhawk County, which is wonderful. That's what we want people to do. Al Fink, who is the park ranger out there, he already goes around. He gets phone calls from Tama County 911 Center. He also receives phone calls from me saying, hey, this is what we have coming in. So he is ahead of the game. He has been doing that when I was the 911 director and emergency manager down in Tama County. We always called and gave him a heads up, whether it was the derecho back in 2020 or whether it's weather-related stuff now. He goes around and he notifies everybody. He says, hey, go to the bathhouse, wherever the safety center is right now. So as he said, he doesn't feel the need to replace the siren, but I don't want that to be the 3 of us choice. We want that to be your choice on what you want to do. People already, generally 98% of people have some type of apparatus to receive those alerts on their phones. But again, it's an added feature. As we know, there are some parks here in Blackhawk County that don't have outdoor warning sirens. So do we use the level of added siren out at Hickory Hills, or do we not replace it? That's not a decision I want to make because they're not my sirens. That's a decision we would like you to make because it's your county. We have the level of redundancy with Alert Iowa. We'll already have those added features of signing up for outdoor warnings alerts through KWWL, through whatever medium that they want to do. But again, it's an added level of feature. These are outdoor warning sirens. These are not indoor warning sirens. And with outdoor warning sirens, there's a mixed bag across the state. I've talked to people in District 6, which is the district we have to sit in for emergency management. Benton County just went through, they had their sirens given to them, as well as Lynn County, because they belong to the Dwayne Arnold Nuclear Plant. They were given to the county. Some of the cities decided, we don't want the sirens anymore. The maintenance and the upkeep is too much. Clinton County is currently going through that because their nuclear power plant decided, we're no longer gonna pay for those. It's up to you to decide what you wanna do for it. They're gonna be going through a series of public hearings, so right now, they're not utilizing their outdoor warning sirens. There are counties across the state that don't have outdoor warning sirens in parks. So, again, you get a lot of wide variety across the state. I don't want to make that decision on what to do because they're not my sirens. I just activate them when we have severe weather.
I feel more
Go ahead,
comfortable
Chris.
continuing with the outdoor siren there. I think those alerts are great and useful, but sometimes the messages come through kind of clunky and out of order and jumbled up, and sometimes somebody will be out doing something and not have their phone on.
And that's
with
absolutely true as well.
Yeah, one of my reservations throughout this discussion is, with the lake out there, if you're out there kayaking, you don't have your phone, or the kids are in the park.
Absolutely.
The old faithful is that siren alarm. So that is, I get that the technology is getting better, and it's definitely improving. But at the end of the day, I still believe some people still rely on those sirens.
Yep.
I'm okay getting rid of it. People have gotten immune to paying attention to them.
And that's kind of one of those things too, when they hear that, and that's where I'm trying to tell people, when you hear the siren when you're outside, don't look up. Run inside and find your safety location. Or if you do happen to hear them when you're inside, please don't run outside. Go to your safety location. So it's really, there's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. It's really whatever the county wants to do, and I'm okay with either decision. I really would like the decision to reside with you.
You mentioned.
Board, I talked to Mike on this yesterday, and I talked to a former board member on the EMA, former Board of Supervisors, and former head of public safety in Waterloo. We chatted a little bit and kind of concurred that it is kind of important with, it's an isolated incident, but they're isolated up there, they're outside, and that sirens probably would be beneficial there. A lot of people leave their phones off, don't take them camping. So his opinion, and I kind of concur, that I think it's important to maintain the sirens there, doing to the isolated area. Most of the people are outside, or if not all of them. And I think it's important. I kind of thought EMA paid for the sirens. I learned that the only thing they do is maintain them, but they don't have the budget to purchase them. So the county would have to purchase it. And, but I honestly think once that's been brought to our attention, I think a siren there for $28,000 probably is pretty important, really.
And emergency management does not maintain them. That's all done through the county.
Yeah, Tom, we, for the maintenance department, we do have an amount budgeted each year to maintain those 6 sirens.
Now, Al you said he's not supportive of it.
It isn't a fact that he's not supportive. I think he was just trying to look at it from all angles. Al is very involved, ranger at that particular
Very.
park, and so I think in his mind, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think he's just looking at all different possibilities.
Well, I was just
and maybe
curious.
utilizing the
He's not
technology.
available today, and I thought too, he's one opinion, I guess, from somebody that lives and breathes Hickory Hills as well, and the safety. I'd like to hear from him, I guess, before the board would take any action on it if we could, but, yes, great.
And that's perfectly fine. My only concern right now is that that system is currently not working.
Is it, not at all?
No.
I'd like to make a
And
decision
with
today.
camping season kind of starting up, that does make me a little concerned that we don't have that alert system in place.
What I have done currently for that park is I have set up Alert Iowa, a geo fence around that. So anybody who is in that area you have to sign up for Alert Iowa in order to receive the alerts. So Al is recommending everybody sign up for this Alert Iowa system. They can opt in and they will be getting those outdoor, the notifications when severe weather comes through. I'm going to be doing a lot more research, and we will be able to opt those people in. It's kind of like the presidential alerting system. When a storm comes through, they will be getting the alerts. But the rangers that are out there and Al, they do a wonderful job alerting people when something is coming through. So he is keeping his people safe in the absence of that siren right now.
I've got a couple quick questions. One is, what's installation time? If we were to order, get it installed, are we looking?
I wish I had that information,
Okay.
Mr. Hall. I actually do not today. I can certainly look into that and find out.
The other question, you mentioned Alert Iowa. What do we have for entrance signage, letting folks know, hey, especially if we're going to be down for a number of weeks, it probably makes sense for us to make sure that that signage is adequate?
So right now, we've got flyers. He has laminated them. We've put them right up at the registration booth. He's going to be handing those out to people. And I've also talked to Gabby to make me something that's a little bit more nicer than the crude sign that I've made. And I'm going to run it through the Emergency Management Board. We've talked about it before, about putting signage at all of our parks, all of our recreation trails, so that way it's something permanent. Because
Yeah.
I'm not just worried about Hickory Hills Park, I'm worried about the entire county.
Well, I think there's probably some value to recognizing day trippers and not just folks overnight. That there probably is some value, at least just overall, but especially while that siren system is down, if the board is
Yeah.
interested in moving forward there.
We have laminated signs at the registration. I've also talked to Mike Hendricks about getting a link for that posted on their online registration as well. So all they do is click the link, they go right in, and it takes literally about less than 5 minutes to get.
But if I'm going out there fishing,
You know, that's
I'm
what
not
we
going to
don't
see
have
the
as well.
laminated.
And data's pretty
Absolutely.
spotty out there.
Yeah.
So it's,
I just wanted to add the point that, as a frequent user of that park, I can tell you that cell phone reception is pretty poor out there. Might be different for different carriers, but for a lot of people, it's very spotty. And I wouldn't want to rely on, that particular system to be the only alert system. But it's another thing you might think about is putting in some kind of apparatus out there so that people could get better access to the internet.
Yeah.
There's some parks around the state that are doing that, and I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, Grant. Well, it seems like for the safety of people right now, especially, we kind of need to address this, whether or not the county would continue doing it in the future or something too, but we're without one and in a place that's pretty remote and maybe spotty as far as connection, but.
Corey, what would be the time period if the board decided to move ahead on how long installation could be on board? Because we are sitting out there with camping season starting, and now it's been made aware. Approximately what would be the time period when they could put something up?
Tom, I will find out. I actually don't know the answer to that right now, but I will definitely look into that with our vendor and see what the lead time is.
Yeah, that's kind of important, I think, too. We could still do it contingent on, but I said, yeah, I would like to hear from Al. So we,
He didn't. It sounded like he wasn't necessarily saying don't do it. It
Yeah,
sounded
that's
like
why.
he'd expressed the comfort level with going
Right.
to
Yeah.
strictly Alert Iowa,
Yeah.
but
I don't mean that in the vote, we could
Yeah.
vote on it still, but I just meant I'd still like to
Yeah,
hear from
it'd
him,
probably
his
be good.
thoughts.
I'd like to take action on this today and then also have some kind of follow-up, just so we know the status of all the other
Yeah.
sirens, if there's any others
Yeah.
that are nearing their end of life. But,
I believe it's probably been about 2 years ago. Yeah, we did a pretty extensive battery replacement. We did replace a full unit at Finchford and Washburn. As you know, we just did a full assessment of that unit. Blackhawk Park is probably the next one that's very similar to this one here at Hickory Hills.
okay. What's the status of the Washburn one?
That is up and running. That's been tested and it's been field verified as well.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, Blackhawk Park would be the next oldest unit. As you drive right into Blackhawk Park, as you come through the main gate, you look right off to your left, and it's kind of in the pine tree right next to where
Gotcha.
you enter.
Okay.
It's
Does
actually,
Black Hawk Park catch Cedar Falls sirens, seeing that it's in a somewhat of an urban area there?
it's mainly for the park and that rural area right there, but it catches that, I don't even know what neighborhood of Cedar Falls that would be.
North Cedar.
North Cedar.
It does catch some of that area of North Cedar, but it's mainly for Black Hawk Park.
Is there an existing siren though in North Cedar that also catches
Yes.
so there's
Yes.
okay.
And
Which
we
I'm
also-
assuming if it's in North Cedar, they could hear it in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with our other Cedar Falls facility out there. I'm assuming they could hear the sirens from Cedar Falls.
The bad part is, and I'm not the only one that says this, a lot of other communities and a lot of other people have said this, depending on which way the wind is blowing with a storm, the siren sound is just taken with the wind. So if that wind is coming from the west or it's blowing from the south, that sound from the siren is going to get carried away as well if you're outside.
Yeah, that's true.
Does anybody know where the nearest Tama County siren is to Hickory Hills?
Tama County only has sirens in communities, so it would be Dysart.
Well, I'll offer a resolution to move forward with replacement of emergency warning siren at Hickory Hills Park.
Second.
So move to second. Is there any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, Rory, give us an update next week on what you've learned on the time frame.
Oh, well.
All right, if there's no further questions, discussion, roll call please, Ms. Schulweiser.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
No.
Hall,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes, resolution is approved. Thank you. It is now 9:51 a.m. This is a hearing / bid opening for waste disposal services at the courthouse, 316 East Fifth Street, Pinecrest, 1407 Independence Avenue, Juvenile Court Services, 818 Lafayette, and the Sheriff's Office, 225 East Fifth Street, all located in Waterloo, Iowa.
I'll make a motion to receive and place on file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the motion carries.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing after we receive oral and written comments, and they are received.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any written comments, Ms. Schulweiser?
No.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Next is bids to be received, open and read. Deadline was 3 p.m. Monday, May 6, 2024.
All right, we did receive two bid proposals. We did not put the address down because we don't know yet until we open these up. We tried to do some searching without getting too far into this, and we could not find any information on the A and G. So I'm going to start with that one. Okay, it does appear that the A&G Professional Services located at 400 Broadway Street, Waterloo, Iowa, for a monthly grand total of $2,632. Next bid received from Republic Services, located in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Monthly grand total, $5,398.46.
All right, next is a motion that the Board of Supervisors receive and place on file the bids to allow time.
Is there, he was,
Just
Oh.
one
Oh,
more here.
there's one more?
Chris. They did provide a alternate as well.
Oh, okay. This is for Republic?
This is for Republic as well, for a monthly grand total of $3,975.20. So we will take these back and review them.
All right, next is a motion that the Board of Supervisors receive and place on file the bids to allow time to review said bids as recommended by Roy Giving, Facilities Director.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, the motion carries. Next, item 11, any reports or information from the board? I've got two things. Just wanted to talk a little bit about strategic planning and thinking about kind of the path forward. On it, we have we've had the one presentation, and we had just kind of the one document sent to us from you and I. And I'm not sure if we wanted if more lead work is done to identify other possible facilitators, or if we feel comfortable making a choice between those two.
And to put it on the agenda or something for next week then, is that, yeah?
Yeah,
That
so
works,
I'll
yeah.
put it on the agenda. Do we want it on the agenda to make a decision between those, or just a decision on?
Let's make a decision.
Okay.
Before the year's over, we budgeted for it for
Yeah.
24, let's,
All right.
yeah, see if we can make this.
All
I know
right.
we need to get on somebody's calendar probably too, to check
Yeah.
it, so that'd be great.
All right, we'll place that on next week's agenda. And then the other thing, I wanted to start scheduling the community services presentations so we could possibly have those decisions made at or near the beginning of the fiscal year, so that those funds would be available to agencies. So if that's all right, we can go ahead and get those started scheduled on the.
Scheduling.
Okay.
I think that's great. Just a note on that. I think it's important. I don't know that all of the recipients from last year have been notified, so we might need to get that on the for the awards that we
Oh,
did
for,
the
you're
votes
thinking
last
of
year.
24s.
Correct.
Okay.
That they have to, yeah, finalize some of that, but
Yeah.
okay, we could still probably schedule though for the
Mhm.
next year's.
All right, so we can make sure, work with Lori, make sure that everybody's been notified of the awards.
Yeah.
Were you thinking too, Chris, of like doing them all in one meeting or just doing? a couple
Well,
each
how
week, or-
many, does anybody know off the top of the head how many groups we're talking about?
I used to, I don't know. It was a smaller
It was
number.
less.
It was smaller number, I think. this
I think
time.
maybe if we first approach it, giving two different meetings, just to think we'd be more successful
Sure.
finding a time that works for everybody.
And maybe a week or two or something too,
Yeah.
to give them options, sure, that'd be great. Okay. No,
All right, any other reports?
Just a comment that the Humane Society had, we'd signed that contract and they'd had some discussion, I think, with Christie as well as a couple of her board members. And there's an issue that she's would like to have resolved. I think they're thinking going forward, and it's about when maybe the sheriff has taken animals that have been neglected or something in the home and then required them to hold them, or the Humane Society to hold them, and then they are holding them for a long period of time and not being sure they'll be reimbursed for the care. And so I said it was something probably should come before the board and maybe some discussion with that, and at that time we could maybe involve the sheriff as well, since they'd be involved. And
Okay.
so I asked her for if maybe a date on the 21st or 28th, something like that would work, if that works for us to
Yeah, that would be great.
hear that. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other reports or information? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.